I saw how on the good side, I did have some really good managers in the independents as well. And that's when I saw how much people are willing to work and stand behind and see when somebody sees you and sees how hard you're working and sees the passion that you're putting into something, they want to be a part of that. And so I did get to see people that would go above and beyond, even if they were getting paid less than they would get paid in a chain restaurant, because they actually believed in the person or they believed in what was happening. And so I started seeing that there's so much more than just, a paycheck. People are looking for something to belong to.
What are they looking for specifically?
Like I said, I think they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
Yes.
And so, here...
To feel valued, right?
Yeah.
They want to be seen. They want to know that what they're doing isn't just a paycheck, like you say, but like you're contributing to something greater. There's an overarching purpose or a mission, right?
And that they matter, that what they're doing actually matters. And I think that getting up and going to work, if you just feel like, why am I doing this? You're not going to put your heart and soul and put all the effort you can into it. But if you know why you're doing it and you feel like I'm an integral part of this business and I am helping, this business, this goal, this dream come into being, then you wake up excited and you go to work and
you're describing like the result of good managers, right?
Yeah.
What a good manager what will result from a good manager. But what was it specifically that these managers, what were the characteristics or what were these people doing that made them good managers? Get specific.
I think transparency is key. I remember that one local bar that was up the street from us that I worked at, we knew when they were going through a rough time, and we all rallied behind them because, we didn't want to see that bar fail.
So, what kind of transparency were they giving you? How were they being transparent?
Just looking back at it now, coming from, we've had really hard times here at Brixton's, and it's really tempting to not want your employees to see that. It makes you really vulnerable. You get scared that they're gonna run the other way if you're not, the strongest, best restaurant at all times. And it's scary. It's scary to be transparent. It's scary to be vulnerable, especially when you're leading and you have all these people looking up to you. But at the same time, nobody's perfect and everybody's going to go through these bad times. And, creating that family environment where your whole group is going to lift each other up and help get through those hard times and creating that environment. So I guess being vulnerable, being transparent, letting people know when you're doing really great and sharing those successes, and then also letting people know where you're failing and reaching out and saying, if anybody has a great idea, let's get in this together.
You're dropping gold on us right now, Tanya. There's so many values that are coming from this. And when you are, when you're up against it and life is hard, right? It's not your instinct to hide your vulnerabilities because you don't want to give the appeal, or you don't want people to think that you're hurting, because that makes you look weak. But the truth of the matter is, when you are vulnerable and you open up and you're transparent, when you reveal your belly and you show your weaknesses, that is a recipe for trust. That is when you show your weaknesses, people know that you have nothing to hide. When you have nothing to hide, they're going to trust you. And when you have that trust, the speed of trust is amazing, right? You can accomplish so much more when there's that level of trust there. And that's what happens when you open up. It's counterintuitive, right? But when you are vulnerable, you will develop trust between you and your team. And you mentioned something else that really resonated with me, and it's escaping my mind. Maybe it'll come back to me later.
Well, just to jump onto what you said, though, when you bullshit your employees, they know. You know what I mean? And if you're just known as a bullshitter, they're not going to trust a word you say.
If they catch you in a lie,
exactly,
trust is gone, right?
And then you can't rebuild that relationship, or it's really hard to.
Yeah, and the other variable that just came back into my mind was that when you share your vulnerabilities and you lean on your team for support and you say, hey, what do you guys got? What are you thinking? Now you're opening the channels of communication and you're tapping into their strengths. They might have a whole new perspective or a whole new skill set that you never knew, but when you open up that channel of communication, they can contribute. They can bring more. Why limit yourself to one mind when you can have the mind of your team? Compound that by 5, 10, 20, 40, depending on how big your team is. Why not have access to that power, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Great stuff.